flexibility of the Volibear drafted, giving Broken Blade counterpick here against the Aatrox, so it will be the Gangplank as you suspected.
Yeah, and I think the GP, it just makes sense with what they're trying to do in this draft, right? When you're going for Kalista Blitz as your bottom lane duo, you want to be playing to that side. This is not something that you want to just have them AFKing under the turret, sitting back, getting poked out by the Varus. Allowing that Varus to be able to be in a comfort zone, I think is incredibly dangerous. So when you go for something like the GP, you don't necessarily have to play to that side of the map. GP can farm it out. You can be ulting towards bot lane, looking for plays down on that bottom side, you know, bring down the Volibear, look for dives, turn off the turret, drop the GP ult, fly in there with the Blitzcrank and Kalista, and look to try to really punish this Varus. And I do think that so much of the game is just going to be based around this bottom lane. People are going to be hyper focused on this as a pick because TSM very conspicuously left that Varus up. It's almost never happened in the LCS so far this split. If it's not the first pick, it's one of the first picks. So, you know, it's really going to come down to that.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I think GP has, I mean, it's good for a lot of different reasons, but I think what you were alluding to there with the ulti just being like such a nuisance for especially immobile ADs to deal with. You just get GP ulted and like you're like walking through mud trying to do anything in a team fight, and with Blitzcrank there as well to potentially hook you. I do like what TSM have put together. This does take some emphasis away there from the top side of the map, which has been, I think, more of the focus for TSM. I think for the most part, DoubleLift and Bio were just happy to play a winning 2v2 and try and get an edge on their own, which they should be very good at. But we'll see how it all shakes out. Broken Blade tends to get a lot of attention in the top lane, but as you said, I think this is certainly more about the Varus pick, which, as you said, TSM decided to make the draft all about it, and you should not do that without a plan.
Yeah, and they have a clear plan, and now it's just being able to execute on it, right? I do think that you can still go up to the top lane. It's not that you can never go up there, never do things up there, but clearly the plan is draft around this bot lane, this 2v2 that you have gone for with the Blitz, with the Kalista. Another thing kind of working in favor of the GP is that when you have physical damage top laner plus a physical damage jungler, you know, it is that Aatrox plus the Olaf. Yes, those are strong early champions, but you can go towards things like the Tabbies if you are really worried, even early Jorum's Fifth. You know, we have seen people go relatively defensive like that, especially when it is kind of that one damage type up on that top side of the map, and be pretty effective. It does, you know, push your Triforce completion back, but if you're going to be playing weak side, that's sometimes a sacrifice that you have to be willing to make to just survive and withstand the onslaught early on, get the farm that you can, stay healthy as you can, and just try to look for assists and, you know, helping your team on the bottom side of the map with that ultimate.
Yeah, and it does feel like the 100 Thieves game plan falls into very much the same camp then. Like, Cody's been given a lot of power with this pick. Every team in the world would first pick Varus pretty much when they're allowed to, so the reason it's never let through is because of how powerful it is, so they need to be taking advantage of what that 2v2 can offer. But here we are out onto Summoner's Rift for the first game of Sunday. 4 to go before week 3 is over. TSM looking for a 2-0 weekend. 100 Thieves looking for a big win for them in terms of momentum, given the early start they've had to their season.
So it is Hail of Blades Kalista, and DoubleLift is going to go with the cleanse. Makes a lot of sense, you know, being able to cleanse the Varus ultimate, the hook, obviously, as well. Two pretty key lockdowns, and you know, when Kalista is actually locked down, it's so much of the power that is being taken away because you obviously are doing those, you know, move hops with the auto attacks. So keeping that freedom is going to be pretty important. Also worth noting that the Volibear, you know, is going to be PTA. We have talked about some of the other rune choices. Sometimes people go Predator, sometimes there's even Phase Rush, Conquer. There are some various options, but PTA is definitely the standard coming out of the jungle. And Volibear can actually duel fairly well against the Olaf. You know, you can trade okay. If you cannot actually burst down that Olaf, though, the extended trades are going to go more and more in the favor of that Olaf. So, you know, you can look for 2v2s, but the extended 1v1 is going to be more dangerous if you don't have quite enough damage to actually knock him down. So we'll see exactly how they want to start this off, as Meteos is going to be spotted going in, and he's actually going to be starting off on TSM's Raptors. So this should just go into vertical jungling, I would expect, for Spica to just go towards the enemy red buff right after this, and then it kind of becomes a question of how do these two teams respond? Does anyone want to actually try to collapse and stop the jungler? Is it just a handshake on, okay, you go there, we'll go here? But, you know, this is going to be something that kind of lends itself to Meteos playing towards the top side, trying to really punish this GP, trying to keep him down if he's going into the vertical jungling, and it's going to make Broken Blade's job that much harder. But TSM may be okay with that handshake, given that they want to play towards bot.
Yeah, we can see Meteos already leaving.
He's actually going to try to cross and go for triple buff.
Yeah, he's going to run for it. So, I mean, they know where he's going. Ryoma's got the mid lane push, so Bjergsen won't see him cross, but you can make a very reasonable deduction that this is what's happening, and given Spica's pathing, he is going to miss out.
Yeah,
Not
this is
in time
actually
to get this red.
This is actually really bad for TSM now. You can see that Volibear is actually heading now towards that red buff. They don't know at all. And he's been spotted, so not only is he not going to get this red buff, he could actually get killed potentially from this situation if Meteos can actually get it before he gets there. We'll have to see if he can finish it off. We're not actually getting a view of that right now. But back here on this top side, Broken Blade is going to be trading, and at the very least they do know that Olaf is down there.
Yeah, Spica was level 3.
Did he steal it? I'm not actually sure.
No. We'll find out in a moment.
No, Spica didn't get it because he's at 12 CS, so he did that full blue quadrant clear. So Meteos did get it, and Meteos will get the triple buff. Spica now is going to be left with not a lot. He can do this bottom side scuttle, but there's only one of the mini raptors left for him up on his top side, and then the Krugs. So there's just going to be a lot less camps for him to farm. Meteos took 2 full camps essentially away from his opponent, and Spica wasn't able to really get anything. So this is going to put TSM behind. This is going to put Meteos in an advantageous position, and we'll see if he can really get anything more from this. Broken Blade is in a pretty awkward spot, but I do think that Olaf was spotted, and Ssumday is getting very far ahead of himself, taking a lot of minion damage there without Meteos around to help.
Yeah, ate a barrel to the face as well that Broken Blade was able to pop with a parlay, so looks like the top laners will just retreat. Broken Blade going to go back and TP back to the lane as well, see what he does want to purchase. Doran's in a control ward, plus the biscuit that just came in from his rune, so not a whole lot.
No, but he needed to reset the wave is really the problem. And he was just kind of backing off from Ssumday, even though he could have won that 1v1 potentially, because he didn't know exactly where Olaf was. He assumed that he would be committing, and you're kind of forced to TP back to lane in that spot. They need to get the wave to the turret. They need to reset that. That's why Spica is up here trying to shadow just in case the Olaf was to come up and he could be around to help him out. But either way, 100 Thieves going to be pretty happy with the early start. We'll see if TSM can start to look to get aggressive down on this bottom side. It's actually the tier Orianna again. So this is, I believe, 3 straight games that I have noticed it coming out in LCS. It used to be all Ludens. I'm actually a pretty big fan of tier on a lot of these mid lane mages. It's such a powerful defensive item. Yes, the Ludens is a little bit of the additional burst, but when you are playing phase rush, and you already have pretty good defensive ability, and it allows you to kind of kite out effectively and have essentially an extra summoner. It's like basically acting as a barrier to try to survive the dive from the champions like the Aatrox, like the Olaf. Because if you can actually live through the Olaf ultimate as the Orianna, utilizing Command Protect plus the Seraphs, then all of a sudden a lot of that power really starts to kind of fall out of those one punch style champions like the Olaf.
Yeah, it's been interesting in mid lane in this whole year actually. We've seen a lot of GOP actually, last split as well on basically every champion, Orianna included. And even now there are some more Road of Ages champions, although Orianna, I think, fitting more this style certainly as you mentioned, but it is cool to see those scaling items be indexed towards a little bit more in mid. Bot lane there was a potential 2v2 brewing, but with no hooks landing and junglers both being down here, but I think both teams know. Just going to make sure that nothing goes wrong, although right now Stunt and Cody do have the push, so it's going to be early access to this Drake for Meteos.
Yep, and they are going to be starting this up. It would be...
Oh, nice hook! Cody going to get knocked up, and that's the kill! DoubleLift for the Q! Just picks up first blood!
That was absolute max range hook. Just barely tickling his button, grabbing, pulling him in there. That is so unfortunate for Cody. He didn't have his flash, so that must have been burned earlier on off screen. I didn't actually catch that happening, so without the flash, there was no way he could get out. They're going to get the dragon and even first blood donated over to DoubleLift, so wow. That is really bad for 100 Thieves. Very unfortunate turn of events because they had got that 2v2 advantage. While the all-in potential from Kalista Blitzcrank is high, if you can actually poke them out to be too low so they can't actually look for the all-in, then you're in a pretty good spot. And here this is one more time. I actually can't believe this hit. That is crazy. That is a cross over the wall, and he was actually against the wall at the Dragon Pit. I would not have known that you could actually hit that hook from there. A number of patches ago, I know they did increase the Blitzcrank hook range, so that is those buffs in action right there, and credit to Biofrost, knowing his limits. They had that ward, and he knew he could actually hit the hook.
You know who else didn't know? Cody.
Yeah.
So almost no way you would think that would hit. So unfortunately for him, he does fall prey to Biofrost's first hook, and could not have gone worse, honestly, getting the Drake as well for TSM.
Yeah, I mean, that is a value hook if I've ever seen one. That hook stole the dragon and gave them first blood with one spell. Not bad.
Pretty good ability.
Yeah,
Meteos,
pretty good.
So continuing his rampaging counter jungling, he's going to take these Krugs away as well. Already level 6, so certainly keeping ahead of Spica in both farm and XP. You can see he's 13 farm up between the two junglers. So looking real good right now on the Olaf. We'll see if he can continue to have effect in the mid game with the lead he's built for himself.
Yeah, you know, he is out to a strong early lead. He has done a good job with counter jungling. He just returned and took the red buff on spawn again. That is all great, but you know, really what that was supposed to net them was the dragons, was, you know, this kind of stacking pressure. And if he just stays like 10, 12, whatever farm ahead, but isn't able to execute on kills, isn't able to take objectives as a result, then it's not going to amount to much. You can see he's moving up towards the Rift Herald. Blitz and Volley are both bot side. Orianna's basing, so this should be an uncontested Rift. But it does mean that Cody Sun's got to be really, really careful. He's going to have to back off this wave. You're going to lose turret plates potentially here too. So, you know, if it's even worth the trade is kind of questionable. It's just going to depend how much do you actually get out of this Rift Herald, because it's going to be 2 plates already gone. This is going to be Cody Sun missing at least a couple CS. I didn't see exactly how many went down, but I mean, he is down a good 10 farm.
Yep, level 7 here as well for DoubleLift, so feeling good in the 2v2. Flash hook hits Cody again! He does have flash this time, and he's out with the Lantern. Kalista ulti not able to quite clip him, but I like the aggression there from the TSM duo lane, getting another plate as well.
That is a good trade. Broken Blade here. No ulti. You need to leave Broken Blade, but I think it's going to be too late for that.
Yep, there's Bjergsen. Have to think a TP is coming in. Meteos actually very low. Shockwave is ready. Does clip Ssumday. Just barely doesn't pull him back, though. Only a mini stun really against the terrain. So Meteos and Ssumday will both escape. Ssumday even turning back around to duel Broken Blade, but good coverage there for Bjergsen, but really gets nothing but making sure Broken Blade doesn't die.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good TP. It does protect him, you know, keeps him alive there and stops that dive from happening. But Meteos, this is actually really smart. Just going to run straight to mid lane, drop it down here, you know, because Bjergsen already is going to have lost 2 plates on the roam. Ssumday coming down also. So this is actually a really smart move from 100 Thieves. They threaten topside, get the TP. Yes, that does not happen. That dive doesn't go down, but they get almost every turret plate off of this mid lane turret. They get the TP. Broken Blade may be able to trade back like 1 plate on top side, but this is really nicely done by 100 Thieves.
Yeah, good bit of maneuvering there from Meteos. Getting almost the mid tower down, but certainly collecting a ton of plates off that first Herald. So pretty successful with the use of the objective that they had kind of traded for, which did unfortunately cost Cody his flash again. We'll see if they do revisit the lane, or even just able to find another hook in the 2v2 to give DoubleLift even more kills. Ssumday and Broken Blade, though, continuing to battle. Ssumday up nicely in the 1v1 right now. Part of that is due to some of the pressure Meteos has been putting out. But 20 farm ahead is nice for the Aatrox.
It is very nice, and a lot of it, yeah, is really to do with that split map jungling kind of thing that we saw, that Meteos actually took control of the top side. It meant that Broken Blade had to play very defensively, you know, backing off the wave at times. You know, and it's hard without just watching that one lane matchup to tell exactly how much was lost to that and how much was just, you know, missed farm or missed plays, but you can assume that quite a bit was due to that pressure. And nice little roam here from Bjergsen, nets them another plate, another couple CS denied there as well. We'll see if Bjergsen can get back in time to actually protect that turret, because his mid lane turret is getting very low. They would love to get first turret on this bottom side, and that is why Bjergsen is actually taking the time to make those roams. But with Meteos here, he's going to have to shockwave clear the way out.
Yep, I like it. Just get a bit of pressure. Tower hits Ryoma. They're trying to win this race here, as you mentioned. DoubleLift and Biofrost fishing for a kill. Cody is very bold to be staying at this point. The hook, just barely doesn't connect, but here you go. Fate Skull, they're just going to dive it. That's the easy setup there. The Blitz silence is good enough, and DoubleLift snags kill number 2. Biofrost will live, and we'll see if they can win the race for the tower.
I think they can at this point. Olaf has got to get down here ASAP, but Volibear could cover, and then they could just finish it off. It looks like Olaf is not going to come down, so they are just going to cede first turret. This 2v2 is going great for DoubleLift and Biofrost. They're playing it appropriately. You need to avoid Varus poke, and then while you are at full health, look for the all-ins, look for that 100-0 where Varus is going to struggle to compete with what you are bringing to the table. They are able to pull it off, get their second dragon as well. So TSM full control of this game. They are up 2,000 gold. Only person who's really individually behind at this point very much at all is top lane, but who cares? It's GP. He can AFK at the turret and farm. Unless they can really start to snowball this, it's just not a big deal. And Broken Blade does have his ultimate available, so even if you look for this dive, he could just drop the ulti and back off.
Yeah, got flash as well. Eat some orange just for a bit of extra health. Like, doesn't feel like the dive was really going to be a thing there. Already have the bot lane rotating up to try and trade, as the dragon, as we just saw, is now down as Spica was able to cover that. Ryoma will finish off this mid tower, so no bonus gold here, but still a good take to help equalize that gold. TSM still up about 1,200 or so, but at least 100 Thieves are trying to trade appropriately where they can, but it does feel like TSM are building up quite a lot of momentum this early on to the mid game.
Yeah, they really are. And Ryoma's going for a similar build to what he did yesterday. He's grabbing the Lost Chapter a little bit earlier. But, you know, he has done this before where most people I have seen go for Comet, then go straight towards the Ludens and kind of try to play more for lane pressure, utilizing Comet, Ludens poke, Scorch, you know, all these kind of early powerful abilities to just kind of Q-poke out their opponents. He seems to like to go for the Nashers, and he just sits on the Lost Chapter to have enough mana regen to really keep him in lane, which I do think works pretty well. TSM trying to threaten the 4-man dive up here on the top side. You can see Meteos, though, is lurking in the background, and without knowledge of where that Olaf is, it becomes a very risky dive to go for.
Yeah, Stunt does not get hit by that hook, but it certainly looked close. Biofrost not quite able to find the range this time around. Still continuing that pressure, gonna ride waves into this tower. 15 seconds left to take plates off, so it doesn't look like anyone else will be cashing in any longer. But again, next Drake's not up for 3 minutes, so no reason for DoubleLift and Biofrost to do much else. And Spica is still suspecting that Meteos is going to be around here potentially. We know he's on the bottom side right now taking his red, but I'm curious to see if there's maybe a dive brewing in top lane, although it looks like Spica is going to back off and just let Double and Bio continue their 2v2 pressure, which again, it feels like they effectively traded Broken Blade's deficit for DoubleLift's advantage. And given what I'm seeing on my scoreboard, that's a very worthwhile trade for the Kalista.
Yeah, I mean, it's a much bigger lead on the bottom side than there is a deficit on the top side for TSM. And given that GP scales very well, you know, and I talked about the ability to rush for tabbies and go these defensive builds for like Jorum's Fist and just try to survive. He didn't even need to do that. He actually got Sheen, you know, right after the Doran's played. So yeah, Doran's for a little bit of that early laning power, but he's going quickly towards the Triforce. And it is going to be a potential 100 Thieves dive down here on that bottom side. That is what is brewing. But Broken Blade, he's sniffed this out. He knows no one on his team is on this side of the map. There's no vision, so he's going to have to back it up.
Flash hook, finds one. That's going to be Stunt, forced to flash away, puts the box up, Storm bring it in, can't stop the Volibear. And that's going to be a kill for Spica as the lightning comes down.
Yeah, dropping the thunder there as Broken Blade on the bottom side just ults the wave, so they're able to delay that, get a kill on the top side. The GP is really frustrating to deal with when he does have that ultimate up in these situations, and now they can, at the very worst, trade towers here, top for bot. They can donate the gold into DoubleLift's hands. You know, he is already very, very strong, working towards what looks like a second item, Rage Blade, and so much of the game I do think is going to come down to this next potential dragon fight. Very few teams are willing to give up 3 straight dragons and put their opponents at soul point this early on, so I do think that 100 Thieves will fight for it. That means we need to see TSM setting up early around that objective. If you have vision control around that dragon and they're trying to check into you as Blitzcrank, there's just really no one who can actually effectively tank that hook and be even somewhat okay. Sure, Stunt could try to tank the hook and then stopwatch and buy time, but you know, it's very difficult to actually go through those corridors into barrels, into Orianna ball, into potential hooks.
I actually love the pace TSM is setting here before this Drake. They took the Herald after the top play. They're going to crash down mid tower, and I think this Herald's enough. Yeah, with 4 people here, almost enough to take it out. Bio looks for the hook, but doesn't get it. Still, the tower will fall, so TSM will collect that gold. 40 seconds till the Drake is up. They have time to reset if they go back right now, which they will do. And TSM is collecting as much as they can before they go back and fight for this Drake they were already setting up for.
Yeah, and I think that is nice to get as much gold as possible, but I honestly don't know if it's worth actually going for the Herald first there. I do think it would have been better to actually just reset in this case, because being first to the area is such an advantage when you are playing with champions like Blitzcrank. Controlling vision is sometimes worth more than the extra gold that you would have actually picked up in that situation. And now Broken Blade, he is going to spot that Olaf coming for him. He's got to try to get out of here.
Got flash. There's the Thresh though, finds the Flay. TP in as well. It's a 1v3. Broken Blade cannot win that exchange, so it doesn't even use the Summoner. Nice kill there for 100 Thieves that kind of feels like it gives up to Drake though, so I have to agree with you. TSM maybe a little too quick on their play there, wanting to get the maximum after the top lane play.
They just wanted to really get everything that they could, like you said. You know, so they tried to go for this mid lane turret, but kind of left them unprepared for the dragon. They didn't get any vision in that area. Broken Blade making, honestly, a pretty big mistake getting caught out there. If you don't have vision, if no one is showing on the map, you don't get to push out that wave, as frustrating as that is. You know, as annoying as it is to play weak side the whole game, to give up farm the whole game, to see your opponent getting ahead of you, that's kind of what they've signed up for. And now TSM will stop that dragon snowballing. They're still in a good spot overall. But, you know, that could have been the win condition in 5 minutes for TSM already. Now that has been pushed back at least another 5 minutes there, which is going to give more time for these 100 Thief members to really get going.
Bio continuing to try and just threaten the hook, but he's on top of a ward right now. I like the attempt around the tower, but does not find Ryoma. Looks like TSM will finally go back and spend their gold. DoubleLift, the man I currently have my eyes on. We'll see if he is done with that Rage Blade right now. Did stay on the map for quite a while to get the gold, and indeed does have 2 items already finished. So very far ahead of his lane opponent here in Cody. Kalista basically ready to team fight right now.
Yep, more expensive items, has more of them too. Broken Blade. Woo, that is a nasty trade out of Ssumday, who really, I mean, we talked about the disadvantage in farm earlier. Now it is getting really big, and they're going to try to ult to slow him down. We'll see if Biofrost can get in range. He has the Righteous Glory.
Level lead as well. Righteous Glory popped. Oh my goodness, he's so speedy. Knockup doesn't hit. Biofrost just walks up and knocks him up, and Broken Blade now going to combo in. DoubleLift though late, trying to catch the rotate around. The TP's in. The TP will counter. Fate's call out. They have to kill Ssumday pretty quickly here.
Double
but
TP.
Here comes Ryoma, shoves them all back in with the Emperor's Divide, but it's 4v3 in a very awkward situation. Biofrost slow, but he pops the stopwatch. DoubleLift though has to run from the rampaging Olaf as the trade will finally come through. Ryoma does get the counter kill. The Shockwave not quite in range of Cody or Ryoma.
Yeah, crazy play there. In the end, it is the 1-for-1 trade going in the favor of TSM. They get that top laner who's so far ahead. They lose their support. And yes, there is a lot of summoners blown on both sides, but multiple teleports were committed here from 100 Thieves to try to defend. DoubleLift is trying to cut off any potential escape route. The only problem with this is it means that they don't have a lot of damage there when the CC is landed. So Ssumday is able to get a really good amount of damage down onto Biofrost, delaying quite a bit of time. And then it seems like there's a little bit of a debate of like, who do we go for here? They decide to actually use the Kalista ultimate, throw Biofrost in on the TPing Ryoma. I'm not sure if they realized that Cody Sun was going to be TPing in there also. And Ryoma had a really good disengage on that turn. The immediate ultimate drop there by the Azir really did disengage for himself and allowed them to get that 1-for-1 trade. But still, overall, I think it is a positive for TSM, given that they got, you know, both of those teleports out.
Yep, they'll take the trade certainly. As Broken Blade still trying to get that farm to work on the Triforce. Can't be too far away at this juncture, but like you said, it's certainly feeling the frustration of having to just, you know, take what's given to him rather than get ahead and be greedy, which any pirate wants to do. Next Drake is also up in 215, so I imagine TSM will make sure they're there this time around.
Yeah, and I think that they just really need to keep in mind how different of a champion Blitzcrank is when you're playing in darkness versus when you're playing on vision, right? You know, Blitzcrank at a pro level is honestly a very weak champion if they can see you coming. If they cannot see you coming, it is ridiculously strong. You know, one hook can be that one kill, can win a fight solo, but it requires all of that due diligence to get up there early, to sweep out all vision, to make sure that you have all your bases covered, multiple pinks in the area. That's the thing that TSM needs to get done for this next dragon. Bjergsen very likely trying to finish his death cap before that next dragon fight. He has the components, he's very close to it. We can see Spica close to the Gargoyle Stone Plate, so I think TSM will be happy to fight at that juncture, as they're going to have a lot of key item completions coming through.
Yeah, 100 Thieves walking in, clearing a little bit of vision, will force TSM to defensively control ward. Biofrost checks the brush with the hook, but does not find anyone waiting. Still, I like the pressure that 100 Thieves are putting on this top side of the map. Ryoma sticking around the top lane to try and deal enough damage to the outer tower to equalize those objectives as well. Again, in a minute there is that Drake up, so Ryoma can't stay too long without his teleport on the top side of the map, but Ssumday's still feeling very confident in his 1v1. The Triforce is now done for Broken Blade, and I imagine Bjerg needs to go back and spend soon if he wants to be around for this dragon. Again, TSM waiting for those item completions, but it feels like maybe not getting where they need to be before this objective, although, as I say that, Spica is starting to clear out that vision.
Yeah, they are getting over there. They're trying to get the vision down, which is good for them, but you can see they've bled away most of their gold lead. You know, they were 2,000 gold up at a point. They are now, you know, less than 1,000 ahead. With Ssumday having Death Dance plus Black Cleaver, the executioners there that Broken Blade just actually based and bought becomes so important, because at that point, you know, with the level lead that he has, Ssumday could run over a team fight if you can't actually mitigate that healing and burst him down. But TSM does have control. You can see that the observer's toggled there. There's no vision in the area as Stunt, just barely doesn't get hooked.
I like that. The old switcheroo there. Edge of Night purchased for Cody. Gonna make him feel a lot safer against the Blitz, but TSM still kind of got what they mostly wanted prior and mid. Ooh, interesting trade potentially for this. Oh, it's not even.
They have Azir. They could do it. This could actually just be getting rushed down. We'll see if TSM can even get there in time. It's dying so fast.
GPL already used. Does see the Baron now getting taken. Knock up there onto Stunt. Hook lands as well. The Baron is dead. Meteos able to smite it down. They will get one kill, but that's a worthwhile trade for 100 Thieves.
Yeah, TSM have got to get a lot now. They need to get the dragon. They need to try to maybe pressure a turret or get something more, because that was just really smart from 100 Thieves. 100 Thieves see how committed TSM is to that dragon area. They had no vision in the area, so they say, screw it. We're not even going to go over there. Let's try the Baron. You have Nashers already completed on your Azir. I'm not sure if he had the death cap prior to that Baron kill. I don't think he did, but either way, you can actually kill that off so fast. It's a full damage Olaf. A lot of damage on this Aatrox too, and 100 Thieves have the potential to pick up a lot of gold on the map with this Baron push. When you have those Baron empowered minions and you have that poke Varus behind it, it can be very difficult. You know, you're standing up trying to wave clear and you're just getting hit by these piercing arrows. Enough of them land and all of a sudden you can look for dives.
Yeah, red buff also going to continue to be stolen away. Meteos has just lived in TSM's jungle all game long as topside. The push has already begun thanks to Ssumday. Ryoma here with the Baron up cannon, but Broken Blade's going to clear out most of that. We'll see how many towers 100 Thieves can get in this Red Bull Baron power play. But you kind of see the difference one Drake makes, right? Like, if that's a trade for the soul, not necessarily a trade you still want to do, but at least then TSM have got a permanent advantage for a temporary one. Now, yes, they got the third Drake, but 100 Thieves are getting so much off this Baron that they might not be able to get the fourth Drake as easily as they would. Whereas if they got it earlier, now it's a little bit different.
Yeah, and that's why those little mistakes matter so much, right? You reset at the wrong timing, you miss out on an opportunity to potentially close the game with a soul. Because, you know, I do actually favor, you know, the soul for Baron trade, you know, on the team that gets the soul almost always. You know, there are some circumstances where it's like, if they can close the game with the Baron, then sure, it's better. But it's a permanent buff for a temporary buff, right? And if you can grab that soul and then just wait it out, it is such a good trade for your team. TSM will still have an opportunity to try to get that soul here in 3.5 minutes. You know, all of the extra cooldown reduction that will represent for the ultimates is going to be big, as there's a lot of powerful ultimates over on TSM. The move speed, very, very nice. That flat move speed is often something that is, you know, kind of overlooked and not talked about as much as the burst of move speed on ultimate. But that flat move speed is so nice for Biofrost and Spica especially, but also really, really good, you know, on DoubleLift, on Bjergsen, on these guys to be able to kind of kite out through the Olaf, because if Olaf can't kill people during his ultimate, he's going to get pretty useless pretty fast.
DoubleLift getting things pushed in towards this mid-tier 2. Baron is off in 30 seconds, and 100 Thieves only got like a tower, actually, out of the deal. So TSM have done a good job containing the advantage that Baron gave them. Again, now it's about what can they do before this next objective fight, which will be a big one, as TSM this time will have the Cloud Soul to play for.
And DoubleLift is ridiculously strong. You know, he is 4-0. He is up 53 farm over Cody Sun right now. You know, he's got 3 items. And they're going to go for an engage here.
I like the attempt. Biofrost is splashing in, takes the Edge of Night off, and that's an easy kill for Bjergsen. See you later, Stunt as well, as DoubleLift is able to take him down. Broken Blade even TPing in. It's a 5v3, yeah. TSM just going to push through.
This should honestly be an inhibitor. I think at the very least, Biofrost and Spica just need to run at Ryoma, make sure he has to back up and can't clear that wave, and that's exactly what they are going to do. Nice hook!
Ssumday gonna get caught up, knocked up as well as he tries to dash away. That will spell doom, potentially, as the stasis is there, flashes out. DoubleLift face check in the Azir does not come recommended. Ryoma shuts it down. That's gonna be another kill. Double there for Ryoma as TSM ran out of minions to tank the tower, and that was a bridge too far.
Ryoma got so much done there, and now here's Ssumday.
Oh goodness. Ragnarok popped, that Spica dead, Bjergsen low as well. Shockwave is not enough to shut down the Ssumday, but Ssumday will take the shutdown himself. Broken Blade running for his life, does have his flash, but gonna have to run away from somebody that's about to cut him off at the pass. Here's Broken Blade now, gonna have to try and dance his way out, does get the barrel shot up, walking back towards his tower, but 100 Thieves might just chase it. Ssumday with a great knock up there, are gonna move in as the flash axe is attempted, will force the counter flash for Broken Blade himself, but TSM, they had it all there, and 100 Thieves just took it away.
They just way overcommitted. It felt like on that dive, you know, when Ssumday actually went into the stopwatch, I think they just kind of lost track of how strong Ryoma really is. They could have, you know, after the stopwatch is committed, just backed up, taken the tower, taken the inhibitor, gotten that for free and reset. Instead, they try to commit for this dive. DoubleLift staying a little bit too long, to be honest, you know, trying to finish off Ssumday, and Ryoma absolutely shred him. He is very, very strong on this Azir, now on 3.5 items, has the stopwatch, has the sword boot, so you've got to respect the range and the damage of the Azir at this point. TSM did not do so, and as a result, loses almost everyone and a lot of the pressure that they had actually gained off of what was a great pick mid lane.
Yep, I mean, the 2 kills they got in mid, the hit they could have pressured for, all would have made this dragon a lot easier to take. But now they'll have to have a much more contested fight here in 25 seconds. And honestly, that misstep did more damage than that Baron did. 100 Thieves now firmly in the lead, contesting for these Drakes. Hook lands on the stunt. Chain CC is there. Good stasis though, and now 100 Thieves can move in to protect their support. Shockwave though finds 2. Bjergsen able to line it up, but that's the kill over onto Spica. No jungler when the Soul Dragon's up. That's not it. As GPO is going to try and find another hook, Biofrost they can't find the angle.
Spica is just way too far forward. You know, he wasn't contributing any damage to that fight. You know, he was actually moving forward. I know he wanted to be there to finish off Stunt, but he's not even in range to deal damage. It was just Bjergsen that was actually going to get that kill. So Spica is just tanking all the Azir damage, does end up going down. It's another dragon going the way of 100 Thieves, and Ryoma at this point is just getting out of control on this Azir. You know, last time he did play it earlier this week, he was having a great game, but he kept getting picked off. This time he has not been whatsoever. And if you can't get to the Azir, he can just run over this game and solo carry it 400 Thieves, because TSM's front line is non-existent at this point. The Azir is just absolutely shredding everyone.
Yep, and again on the other side, Ssumday Meteos more than up to the task of running into the backline and tanking as much damage as they can. Yeah, certainly more like bruises at this point with the builds that they've gone, but just really challenging as 100 Thieves take yet another Drake. On track to run it 4 Drakes in a row to maybe try and take the Soul. Still not there at Soul Point just yet, but DoubleLift now getting chased down by Meteos. No flash, does have cleanse. Hook is going to miss, and that's a lot of damage. GA will not be consumed. Yes, it will.
Yeah, Meteos getting very overconfident there. I mean, yes, you are a full damage Olaf, but you know, unless there's absolutely no one behind DoubleLift, there's no chance, I feel like, of that kill actually happening. You're actually down levels on the marksman. You know, Kalista can kite you out very effectively, and at this point in the game, Olaf just isn't that strong unless you have, you know, Yuumi or a Karma or someone actually buffing you up. He doesn't have any of that, so they get the GA, they get the ult. Yeah, they're just going to start the Baron, stack up those spears. We'll see if TSM can get this. 100 Thieves is aware. It's just a question of can they get over in time to stop it.
It's getting low. Oh, this looks very precarious. Stunt finds the hook on a DoubleLift. He cleanses out, boxes up. They're going to have to get out, but I don't think they can. Ssumday's in the pit. They need to finish off the objective. Something is going to have to happen here. They'll take down Olaf, though. That's a good course, but now the Baron should be there. Spica is not going to finish off. Are you kidding me? Ryoma somehow steals it away. And now Ssumday is on the chase. Ryoma still going alongside his ADs. Cody is still peppering arrows in, and TSM, they're about to get completely cut off here by 100 Thieves. I just don't think they can win this fight. Biofrost finds the hook, gets stumped, but that's not the one they need to kill. That's 2 down already as Ryoma is continuing to rampage in this team fight. He's finding everything. Bjergsen gonna get shot back. That's the kill. That's the Bud Light ace as TSM will fall, and that may be the game handed over on a silver platter.
Ryoma with the 1v9 plays. This man is a monster taking over the game here against TSM. He could TP back in, and they could potentially just look to end it. I think they can. I mean, Spica's up soon, but there's no wave clear here. There's no way you can actually stop this level 18 Azir. He's got to try to cut the wave, but with the Baron buff, I don't think he's got a chance to do it. We'll see if they want to try to go for the end. Looks like a little bit of a debate. They are just going to take the second inhibitor here instead of trying to risk it for that Nexus. Now can move over to a potential triple inhib.
Yeah, 100 Thieves certainly taking the more conservative line here, but Ryoma still, oh goodness, Biofrost, you are not safe. But the tower looks like it will be. 100 Thieves will look to take a reset instead. Drake up in 2 minutes. But this Azir is just unstoppable. I mean, what happened around this Baron?
I mean, this is a mess. So if you're going to get it this low, you need to finish it. But everyone is pulling out of the pit. And look at this. Spica's just left alone with the Baron at 2k. So he's got to actually ult to try to stay alive and try to get it. And I guess it was just an early smiter. Did he smite for combat? Like, I'm not sure if the actual smite timer is accurate there in the replay. If it is, that means he used his smite earlier, trying to actually rush it down. Potentially, he smote early, expecting DoubleLift to actually rend and kill that. Maybe we can get a confirmation, you know, from observers or producers here on if that was actually accurate on what happened. But you know, based on the cooldown there, he didn't even have his smite, and using it early on a Baron take is a monumental error, and that is something that is going to haunt you.
Meteos was dead. Like, there's no way. There's no one else to contest for that Baron. You have Kalista and a jungler with Smite. As TSM will find a hook onto Stunt, look to get a kill. The exhaust. There's a lot of work there. See you later. DoubleLift as Ryoma going good. Like, scoops the last one in as Ssumday low, but not out. Ryoma just standing and fighting, but he's going to get flipped back into the team. Flashes, but that's not enough. They need to get this kill very quickly. They do get 1,000 extra gold over to Broken Blade as a result, as TSM continue to hold on.
Oh, that is such a big pick. The Blitzcrank coming up huge. 100 Thieves not respecting those pockets of vision. You've got to make sure that you're clearing it out together, that you're checking all the boxes of where that Blitzcrank could be. They failed to do it. Stunt gets hooked in. They lose multiple members, including a 1k shutdown, going the way of Broken Blade, I think, there. So that is really, really big for TSM. They're still up against it, still kind of somewhat pinned in their base, but they could try to rush down for this soul potentially. Ryoma has no TP. He's down for 25. If TSM get the soul, they could just retreat to their base and look to turtle because Baron is not up for 3 minutes, and that's what they're going to go for right here.
Ooh, Ssumday and Cody playing a dangerous game here as well. Dragon is up. They're going to have to look to take it. Meteos will not make it in time, unless there can be some real diversions built up here by Cody and Ssumday. Ssumday, though, is starting that flank. They're going to threaten here. Meteos actually does make it in time. Goes over this time. Spica finds the smite. And now they'll back off to TSM. They'll get the soul and get out.
They get it. They stay alive here. And now, you know, in a much better position than they were just 1 minute or so ago when it looked like 100 Thieves is about to close out that game. That is a clincher, though, for Spica. I'm sure he was very nervous smiting that dragon when Varus was actually, you know, over the wall. If he stole that, that would have been so tragic for TSM. But 100 Thieves, you know, failed to actually close it out with the push. They didn't want to take the risk earlier when I think they actually could have closed the game through top lane. So that, in combination with a mistake getting picked over, you know, by that blue buff on TSM's side, means the game does extend. They still can control it. They still can actually close it out, but they've given TSM another opportunity. They've given TSM a chance to actually fight back in this game and potentially turn it around. So we'll see how they can handle this with 2 super minion waves pushing in. They do have a lot of pressure, but unfortunately for 100 Thieves, the Baron isn't going to be up before, you know, these inhibitors are close to respawning. So, you know, if you can't actually get anything done prior to that, you know, TSM will be in a decent position.
Yeah, I mean, the game is being delayed significantly on both sides here. Hard to say who has the scaling advantage. I think you could make arguments on either side. Obviously, Ryoma very strong on this Azir, so if he's left unchecked, he will take over a team fight regardless of the situation, but does feel like execution is, as it often is, going to be the big deal here. If Bio can continue to find those hooks, if there's a shockwave that lines them up, but TSM don't have the pressure right now. That is 100 Thieves still with the supers, forcing them to be a little bit divided, but Biofrost always ready with one more hook.
Yeah, he's got to always be threatening the hook. I mean, I think in just like a straight up, you both walk at each other and fight front to back type fight, I think 100 Thieves is going to win that, you know, fairly easily because Ryoma is just so ridiculously strong. That being said, when you have Blitzcrank, when you have the Orianna Shockwave, if you can actually catch some of those carries with that, you know, either with hook or with a Shockwave, that can change, you know, the game completely, right? And that is what it's really going to be all about. That is what TSM have kind of drafted for here. They don't have the best ball delivery systems, but you can jump the bear into the back line with a ball on his head and try to get a shockwave that way. If they can pull that off, that could really be good for TSM, but so much of it is just coming down to Ryoma at this point. I mean, he's been level 18 for quite a while. He's almost completely full build. They're trying to flank him here, and Ssumday is separated from the rest of the team, so will TSM commit?
Yeah, TSM know they have to make a play because they don't really have any other way to get to this Baron. Yeah, they just got cut better from their own base, though. So TSM a little too bold to get territory there, so they're going to lose his inhibit again by the looks of things. Ssumday even going to work on the bottom lane as well, so Ryoma in quickly. He'll easily finish this off without any assistance.
Yeah.
So make it 1. TSM still trying to fight. Ssumday going to be threatened by Bjergsen, but not that much of a threat. And now 100 Thieves can just walk away back to Baron.
Yeah, that was pretty bad from TSM. I mean, if you're going to look for a play, like, it's not as though they didn't know Ssumday was pushing. He was sitting in that bottom lane killing off minions. You know that he is there. So you either have to base early, take control of mid lane, send someone to answer him, send the GP over to answer him and wave clear, or you hard commit mid lane or hard commit to the Baron and try to bring him to you. They basically did neither. They kind of went mid lane, decided, no, we don't really want to engage. Okay, let's get out of here. And that just means that you lose on both sides, right? You lose the mid lane inhibitor, you lose the bottom turret, you don't get anything around Baron, and you allow 100 Thieves to regain control here a bit. They're just starting up this Baron 2-man once again. I don't know if TSM are really even fully aware of it. They're trying to move over towards the Baron to get vision.
Well, I know that Broken Blade cannot win this 1v1, so he's going to be forced away. Baron is low. Oh, goodness, that looks close. Spica dives in with the ulti, but
he's got no flash
in time to smite. Yeah, now he's just kind of trapped. He's got the ball on top of him, but they don't have Ssumday for a brief amount of time, but the GPL is going to try and slow down Meteos. Lantern is good, though. And DoubleLift gets rooted up by the Varus ulti, so Biofrost can't follow up despite throwing him in with the Fate's Call. TSM get nothing, and 100 Thieves take the Baron.
Yeah, TSM too slow again. They're just not able to get over there in time, not able to really keep track of everything, and this is just a continuation of the previous mistake where they lost control over mid lane, they had to base late, they lose the inhibitor, they lose the inhibitor tower. That means they're not out on the map to actually maintain vision control around that Baron, so TSM, again, has just got to keep looking for these picks. Biofrost needs to find a hook, but there's even a Banshee's Veil now on Ryoma. It means there's Banshee's Veil on him, an Edge of Night on the Varus. It's so hard now to actually find a good hook target, right? You've got to try to poke those off, then find a hook, which is very difficult, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, he's got Banshees and Zonas, which you almost never see on one single mid laner, but Ryoma, he knows he's the big carry, has to stay alive here in these fights, so taking the requisite precautions as his full items ready to slay at the next upcoming fight. TSM will not be able to find enough pressure or enough time to wait for this Elder Dragon spawn, as 100 Thieves are already back in their base threatening these inhibs. DoubleLift is 2v4 right now. Fate's Call going to throw him in there. Well, look for Cody, but DoubleLift is so low already. He's going to get shut down. Is Broken Blade actually able to get the kill? Almost stays alive, does DoubleLift, but he cannot weather the storm. A Spica low as well. Meteos, though, also not too much health left, but he pops the plate and walks away. TSM, they're looking to re-engage. Bjergsen, do you have the shot? Oh, what a hook! Finds Ryoma! That's what they needed! Stormbringer is going to come as the ulti is too late from Ryoma to save him. As TSM, they'll find the double there for Spica. Meteos dead as well. He's going to get Chilling Smote and slayed by Broken Blade as TSM, at the last possible minutes, have found their way into this game.
Biofrost, what an absolute hero! He finds the flash hook on the key target there. This is going to mean Elder Dragon for TSM, and the game will continue again. 100 Thieves just barely unable to close out this game time after time. Broken Blade TP to bot lane. They're actually going to look to push this. Bjergsen may want to try to defend this inhib, because that's, you know, another one going to be going down here very shortly. I don't know if he wins this trade. He kind of just charged straight into melee range.
Shockwave, yeah, I mean, he's the only one with TP, so I like that he's staying. Elder Dragon's going to be a little bit slower as a result, but not that much. Wait, DoubleLift? I guess he's back clearing the base. It's fine. No one's out here to threaten the Elder Dragon. It's going to be okay.
DoubleLift was dead, right? So he was just respawning. So they have very little damage on this. They should be able to get it. Cody looking for the steal.
Oh goodness, please be careful. All right, it's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. Spica, he got it.
Oh man, as soon as you fail one smite as a jungler, you're so nervous the rest of the game, and your team is also so nervous the rest of the game. You know, everyone just immediately loses all confidence in your ability to press the smite key. So it's always going to be a little bit dicey after that. But TSM, they do get the Elder. They have the Soul. So for this next couple minutes, you know, they've got 2 minutes with the Elder buff. They reign supreme. Any decent fight you take, you should win. But you still have to respect the damage of Ryoma. If you just funnel into this Ryoma, if you can't get on top of the Azir, and he can just shred through you, Elder buff or not. But TSM want to fight now. They need to get something done during this time because their base is still being pressured, and this is really about the strongest they are going to be. You know, it's already 6 items on DoubleLift. You have the Elder. You want to make something happen, but no one is actually in a position to answer the split push from Ssumday right now. And again, they're kind of a little bit slow.
Bjergsen is the only one. He's the only one with TP currently. So he's going to go back and match the waves. That is going to leave a 4v4 here in the middle of the map as Cody Sun does get away. Spica not able to quite find him there.
Yeah, we'll have to see if Bjergsen can defend this. I don't think that Ssumday's going to want to try to push his luck, knowing that the Elder buff, is up there. So the mid lane inhibitor, I do believe, just respawned. TSM still setting up. They're just struggling to actually get in range. That is really the big problem, is that you want to fight, you want to try to utilize this Elder, but Cody Sun is going to be poking you out from really far away. He's way behind DoubleLift, but he's still almost fully completed his items. He has all his lethality online, and you can see down in the bottom lane, Meteos is actually over there with Ssumday, so they're hoping that Bjergsen will come out and say, all right, let's fight, I have Elder. And if you get that 2v1 kill on Bjergsen, that could be the game ending, because you can actually go into the base at that point.
Yeah, it looks like Bjergsen is playing very responsibly though. TSM will at least take a tower off the map. They'll be able to take this tier 2 down, but 100 Thieves employing one of the more consistent strategies against Elder Dragon, which is don't opt into fights when your opponents have it. So they do protect the rest of their base.
It is a very good strategy against Elder. Just run away and don't even go near them for those couple minutes, and they are going to successfully be able to do that. TSM doesn't really have the long-range poke to utilize it. They didn't really have the ability to get a hard engage without finding some sort of a hook, and 100 Thieves played very respectfully during it. So again, we're kind of back to this relatively even state here. Biofrost just kind of wandering through mid lane there. Does take a bit of damage, but not too concerning, and it's going to be about the Baron, which 100 Thieves has had a lot of success around. We know how quickly they can kill it with Ryoma in that area, so TSM has got to respect that. They've got to find ways to get vision at least in their jungle, so they have a good avenue to actually consistently check on that Baron pit anytime Azir is missing.
Sun Tower here as well, which is actually surprisingly tricky for TSM to kill. Like you said, no real poke, not a lot of long range going on in this team comp. There's the double spell shields basically here. Different items, same buff for Ryoma and Cody. Makes Biofrost's job of hooking a carry that much more difficult. And Baron is up right now, so we'll see how 100 Thieves want to play. They do have mid priority already.
Yeah, the Azir turret being down is honestly really nice. Kind of gives them this little bastion of safety. Ssumday is pushing down on that bottom side. Broken Blade is level 18 as well, though. He is really mostly caught up in items. It's just the Kindle Gem to the Ruby Crystal, so both these guys working on their 6th item. And we'll see if TSM can kind of reestablish some vision in their own jungle. That is the first step to really denying 100 Thieves access to the Baron Pit, because if you don't have vision in your jungle, you have to check so slowly through there that you end up in this spot where 100 Thieves are just rushing down the Baron as you're trying to check brush to brush, and you can often get there too late, which is kind of what happened a couple times this game already.
Also triple blue trinket for TSM, so have a number of ways to check the Baron safely, but there's of course a control ward in the pit, so they only get temporary vision whenever they want to check it. It's kind of like the old clairvoyance, if anyone has been playing since that long ago. Broken Blade trying to chase down Ssumday, but it's mostly about pushing the wave back here and trying to make some space. Top inhib also likely respawning soon, but this next Baron is going to be a big one.
It really
100 Thieves are slowly clearing out all this vision, just kind of daring TSM to come and fight them.
I mean, this game has gone on much longer than I expected.
Oh,
I
goodness,
do think
yes.
that both teams have made errors when they could have potentially closed the game, or at least gotten to, kind of game-ending lead. At this point, it's really kind of anyone's game. I mean, there's so much range on the side of 100 Thieves that DoubleLift has got to respect, as he takes a lot of poke there while he's trying to move in. Has knocked down the turret, so crap their first inhibitor tower of the game 45 minutes in. And we'll see if they can actually find a way to get a fight, because now it is Broken Blade who's actually on the offensive here down in that bottom lane. You can see Ssumday is taking the red buff, so he might actually try to grab the red buff and then use that to win a 1v1 against Broken Blade, which would be really big for them, as TSM does start up the Baron.
Yep, they've got... Oh, Bjergsen's not in position to try and actually fight if they want to turn. GPL is ready, yeah. Oh, now they're caught in the pit. They're going to fight instead. They're going in onto Stunt, but Meteos is on top of DoubleLift. He's going to get himself knocked up, but the GA is going to buy a lot of time. Ragnarok's out, though.
GP separated.
Does not connect. Ryoma, though, going to be the target. They need to take him out. They get the silence, but he flashes out before he can be felled. Broken Blade also running amok in the back line. TSM, I think they split them up enough to take it. Stunt is going to fall. Meteos is going to fall into GA, but Ryoma is dishing out so much damage over the wall. Meteos dead with the shockwave. Very Very nice pick up for Bjergsen. And now TSM, they've got the mid lane cut off. Just run down there.
Yeah, they're just going to go straight down mid. Bjergsen is actually basing to TP back here. He wants to be full on health. They think they can end the game potentially right now with Meteos and Stunt dead. It's all about Ryoma. Can he stay safe? Can he deal out the damage? There's no Baron buff, so they just need to clear the minion wave to start.
The hook is going to force the flash from Cody. Ssumday going back in, takes down Biofrost. Watch the ult timers as well. The Cloud Soul makes him very low as Bjergsen's ult is coming back off cooldown. They'll take 2 inhibs here at least. But TSM, you have to think they want to stick around to end this game if they can. Bjergsen looking for the shockwave, finds Cody! What a heroic move! Ryoma is still alive, but now he's finally going to be felled. No, I take it all back as somehow the shutdown comes in as Ssumday, the only one left alive to defend the Nexus. Broken Blade and Bjergsen kiting him around, but he is so tanky for an Aatrox with the GA, and TSM don't have the resources to burn through it all, so they get the carries, but Ssumday and Stunt make sure the base stays alive.
They barely are able to defend the base there. They had forced out that flash from Cody Sun on an earlier hook from Biofrost. So Bjergsen knew he could go for that flash shockwave, but with Meteos respawning, Elder and Baron are both on the map, so it just gets even more complicated. Will Meteos try to run over and actually potentially take this Elder? TSM was trying to lay in wait here. They're trying to set up a trap, but they can actually get surrounded. They've been spotted now.
Oh, did not complete the recall, and it may cost him. Stunt is zooming around Bjergsen with a ton of move speed. Yeah, that Cloud Shrine as well, also in the jungle, making it a lot easier. But now, not really available for this Elder Dragon, but 100 Thieves are chasing for these kills. That matters more to them right now. Death time is so long. We're 48 minutes into this game almost.
Oh, Ryoma has TP here as well, so if they actually overcommit, they could get TP'd on. There is a ward over by the blue buff. He's using the defensive ward here potentially as Cody Sun is going to TP in with him.
Ooh, they both go in. Good hook from Stunt. Finds Biofrost. Yep, he's dead. No Fate's Call to try and save him, so it's going to be a 5v4 for a while.
Looking to backdoor.
Yeah, he's trying to end the game right now. He's going to push the minions in. The Elder Dragon's going to go over 200 Thieves. Surely Spica loops in. Doesn't quite get it. Meteos there with the smite is good. As Spica is dead, but Bjergsen, he's going to try and finish it all up. The Nexus is dead. They need to cancel these backs. Aatrox, he's zipping back as fast as he possibly can go. Bjergsen is here. He's got the shockwave again. He used it, but it takes it the wrong way. But Bjergsen, with the auto, that's it! Steals the Nexus away from 100 Thieves. What an ending to that back and forth game.
All chat, clean. Clean. Just hit him with that.
So clean.
Oh my god. Bjergsen with the absolute heroics there. When Biofrost got picked off, I thought for sure it was going to be 100 Thieves taking the Elder, pushing it down, ending the game. It looked like that would be, you know, the clear-cut end to this game, but instead Bjergsen, you know, finds the opportunity. 100 Thieves TP'd everyone over there. They didn't have the Baron buff for the recall. They didn't have the ability to get quickly back to that base. So just really quick thinking there by Bjergsen saves TSM from what honestly probably should have been a loss a couple different times if 100 Thieves didn't botch it. And that is going to be such a frustrating game for 100 Thieves. TSM going to be so happy that they barely scraped by with a victory there off of their star mid laner. You know what a fun game though. That was honestly insane.
That was a roller coaster ride. I think we opened a whole new theme park just off that game alone. It's a 2-0 for TSM though, and you know what? I can't wait to hear from the analyst desk. So it's time for us to step away. But when we return, the State Farm analyst desk will break down that thrilling ending.